Have you ever stopped to wonder who invented money? We use money almost every single day, without ever questioning where it came from. Every morning, millions of people wake up and spend hours working just to earn it. We use it to buy food, clothes, houses, phones, and almost everything else. It has become such a normal part of life that we rarely think about its true origin. But here's something surprising. For most of human history, money didn't exist at all. There were no coins hidden inside anyone's pocket. There were no paper bills waiting inside a wallet. There were no banks protecting people's savings. There were no credit cards, debit cards, or digital payments. In fact, there wasn't even a single number sitting inside a bank account. So, if money didn't exist, how did people get the things they needed? And perhaps an even bigger question is this: who actually invented money in the first place? Most people imagine a brilliant inventor creating the first coin one day. But history tells a completely different story. The truth is that no single person ever invented money. Money slowly evolved over thousands of years as human society became more complex. To understand why money exists today, we first need to travel back to a world without it. Imagine waking up thousands of years ago in a small, prehistoric village. There are no shops waiting to open in the morning. There are no supermarkets filled with fresh food. There are no restaurants preparing breakfast for hungry customers. There isn't even an online store where you can order something with one click. Everything you need must come directly from nature. If you want food, you have to hunt, fish, or gather it yourself. If you need warm clothes, you must make them using animal skins. If your tools break, nobody can sell you a replacement. You have to build another one with your own hands. Life is much simpler than today. But it is also far more difficult and dangerous. Every single day is a struggle to survive. Over time, humans become smarter and more skilled. Instead of doing everything themselves, people begin specializing in different tasks. Some become excellent hunters who can catch more animals than they need. Others become skilled fishermen who know every river and lake nearby. Some spend years learning how to make stronger stone tools. Others become talented potters who create beautiful clay pots for storing food. Every person slowly becomes an expert at something different. This changes the way people live forever. Instead of making everything themselves, they begin helping one another. A hunter can exchange extra meat for a handmade clay pot. A fisherman can trade fresh fish for a sharp stone axe. A tool maker can swap weapons for warm animal skins. Everyone benefits because each person focuses on what they do best. At first, this new system seems almost perfect. Villages become busier as more people trade with each other. But hidden beneath this simple idea is a problem that almost nobody notices. And solving that one problem will eventually change the history of humanity forever. Let's imagine you are a fisherman who has just caught 10 fresh fish from the river. Your family already has enough food, so you decide to trade the extra fish for something useful. What you really need is a warm animal skin to prepare for the coming winter. So you walk across the village looking for the best hunter you know. Luckily, the hunter has several animal skins ready to trade. But there is one small problem. The hunter doesn't need any fish today. His family caught plenty of food yesterday, so he isn't interested in your offer. Instead, he wants a brand new spear because his old one is broken. Unfortunately, you don't know how to make spears. Now your simple trade suddenly becomes much more complicated. You must first find someone who wants fresh fish. Then you have to trade your fish for a spear. Only after getting the spear can you return to the hunter. Finally, you can exchange the spear for the animal skin you wanted all along. What seemed like one simple trade has now turned into 3 separate trades. Imagine repeating this process every single time you need something. Buying even the simplest item could take hours or even days. Sometimes the trade wouldn't happen at all. This was one of the biggest weaknesses of the barter system. Today, economists call this problem the double coincidence of wants. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually very simple. Both people must want exactly what the other person is offering. If even one person says no, the entire trade falls apart. As small villages grow into larger communities, this problem becomes even worse. More people means more goods, but it also means more complicated trades. Finding the perfect trading partner becomes harder every year. People begin wasting valuable time searching instead of working. Hunters, farmers, fishermen, and craftsmen all face the same frustration. Everyone agrees that there must be a better way. Slowly, different communities begin experimenting with new ideas. They start using certain valuable objects during trades. These objects are useful because almost everyone is willing to accept them. In some places, beautiful seashells become highly valued. In other regions, blocks of salt are considered extremely precious. Some cultures even use cattle as a form of wealth. Elsewhere, rare stones, beads, or metal pieces become popular. Although these objects are different, they all serve the same purpose. They make trading much easier than before. Instead of searching for the perfect person, people first trade for something everyone wants. That valuable object can then be exchanged for almost anything else. Suddenly, trade becomes faster and more flexible. Farmers can sell their crops without worrying about finding the perfect buyer. Fishermen no longer need someone who specifically wants fish that day. Hunters can trade meat for valuable items and spend them later. Markets begin growing larger than ever before. Villages become connected through regular trade. New opportunities appear for merchants willing to travel long distances. Human civilization begins taking another huge step forward. But even this new system still has several serious problems waiting to be solved. At first, commodity money seemed like the perfect solution. Almost everyone accepted these valuable items during trade. That made buying and selling much easier than before. But people soon discovered that commodity money had its own problems. Imagine trying to carry an entire cow to buy a few bags of grain. It simply wasn't practical. Large animals were difficult to transport over long distances. They also needed food, water, and constant care. Salt was valuable, but it could dissolve if it became wet. Seashells were lightweight, but they could easily crack or break. Some rare stones looked valuable, but were difficult to divide into smaller pieces. Even worse, different villages often valued different objects. Something considered precious in one place might be completely worthless somewhere else. That made long-distance trade far more difficult. Merchants needed something that almost everyone would trust. Whatever they used had to be durable enough to last for years. It also had to be easy to carry from one place to another. People needed something that could be divided into smaller amounts, and perhaps most importantly, it had to be difficult to fake. Over time, one material stood out from all the others. Metal turned out to be an excellent choice. It was strong enough to survive years of use. It could be melted, shaped, and reused whenever necessary. It didn't rot like food or wear out like animal skins. Small pieces of metal were surprisingly easy to carry. Gold, silver, copper, and bronze all became valuable trading materials. At first, people simply exchanged chunks of metal by weight. Buyers and sellers carefully weighed every piece before completing a trade. This worked better than using cattle or seashells, but it was still slow and inconvenient. Every transaction required a scale. Every piece of metal had to be tested for purity. Dishonest traders sometimes mixed cheap metals with valuable ones. Others shaved tiny pieces off the edges without anyone noticing. Trust once again became a serious problem. Governments and powerful rulers saw an opportunity. They began producing metal pieces with official markings. Each mark guaranteed the metal's weight and purity. People no longer had to weigh every single piece themselves. They could simply recognize the official stamp. For the first time, trading became much faster. Buyers and sellers gained confidence in every transaction. These stamped pieces of metal would soon become known as coins. A simple idea had completely transformed the way people exchanged value. And the story of money was only beginning. Coins quickly spread across kingdoms and civilizations. Trade expanded farther than ever before. Merchants traveled across mountains, deserts, and seas. Entire economies began growing around these small pieces of metal. But even coins could not solve every problem forever. As trade continued to grow, people carried larger amounts of coins than ever before. A few coins were convenient, but hundreds of them became incredibly heavy. Wealthy merchants often needed several bags just to carry their money. Long journeys became slower because of the extra weight. They also became much more dangerous. Thieves quickly realized that traveling merchants were carrying valuable coins. Robbery became a constant risk on busy trade routes. Some merchants even hired armed guards to protect their wealth. Others searched for safer ways to transport large amounts of money. A new idea slowly began to emerge. Instead of carrying heavy coins everywhere, people started leaving them in secure storage. Trusted goldsmiths and merchants often offered safe places to keep valuable metals. In return, they gave each customer a written receipt. That receipt proved how much gold or silver had been deposited. At first, people treated these receipts as simple pieces of paper. But something unexpected soon happened. Instead of collecting the metal, people began trading the receipts themselves. If everyone trusted the receipt, there was no need to move the actual gold. Carrying paper was much easier than carrying bags of heavy coins. Large business deals suddenly became much more practical. Over time, these receipts evolved into the world's first paper money. Governments recognized how useful this idea could be. They began printing official banknotes backed by their authority. People accepted these notes because they trusted the government that issued them. Once again, trust proved to be the real foundation of money. As centuries passed, paper money spread across the world. Banks became more organized and connected. New financial systems made trade even faster. Businesses grew larger than anyone could have imagined. International trade connected distant civilizations like never before. Then another revolution arrived. Computers completely changed the way people handled money. Banks started storing money as digital records instead of physical cash. Credit cards allowed people to pay without handing over coins or banknotes. Online banking made it possible to send money across countries within seconds. Smartphones placed an entire wallet inside a single device. Today, many purchases happen without any physical money changing hands. Sometimes, nothing moves except numbers on a computer screen. Yet those numbers still have value, and that value comes from exactly the same thing that supported money thousands of years ago: trust. A coin is only metal until people agree it has value. A banknote is only paper until society accepts it as money. Even digital money is nothing more than information stored in computers. Without trust, every form of money would become worthless overnight. So, who invented money? The answer is no one. Money was shaped by countless civilizations over thousands of years. It is one of humanity's greatest inventions because billions of people continue to believe in it. And the next time you spend money, remember that you are using an idea thousands of years in the making.